Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's the second day of, animation month, which, if you saw my last video, the reason I put How to Train Your Dragon is here. It's because it is animated, and like I said, you won't be seeing Heartland, Little House on the Prairie, or Avonlea, or Walton content, until December. Because I just thought I'd do some stuff on animated videos I watch. Alright, so, second last episode of Comparison and Opinion for the How to Train Your Dragon characters. I might be doing this in another series, I'm not sure. But, today's actually a little different because I'm actually comparing a dragon, and this is the only dragon I'm comparing, just because the only dragons that are actually in the book: Toothless, Stormfly, and Hookfang. But Hookfang belongs to Stoic, and he doesn't really appear in any books, except maybe the first one. And Stormfly, I just didn't want to compare Stormfly. So I compared the main dragons in both. Toothless. And this was actually a lot harder to find information on. Usually I find lots of stuff, but mostly it's just on their appearance that was different, and their personality by a long shot. Alright, let's get started with movie Toothless. Alright, so if you've seen the second movie, and if you haven't, and like I said in all the previous ones, if you haven't seen the movies, spoilers. If you haven't read the books, spoilers. If you've read both, if you've read the books or you've seen the movies, it's review. Alright, so Toothless from the movie. So now, like I said, for the ages, I usually cover the ages. If you've seen How to Train Your Dragon 2, then you know that Toothless is the same age as Hiccup. Doesn't mean he's 15, 20, 21, 30, but in dragon years, he is. And he is a Night Fury, which isn't the biggest species of dragon, but it is. A Monster's Nightmare is bigger than it, which, but it is one of the rarest kinds. As now, if you've seen the movies, you know that Toothless may possibly be the last one of his kind. We find out in the third movie, Grimwell killed them all. Of course, the Light Fairy, which is a different species, does exist. And he is more of a giant-winged pussycat than anything. He's playful, inquisitive, and intelligent, actually. Night Fury is one of the most, what is it on my list? Most intelligent of all known dragons. And he's also more of Hiccup's best friend rather than pet. And he's extremely protective of Hiccup. He has echolocation sense, plasma blast, and like most dragons, his pupils thin into a slit if he's angry or fearful. As you see in the second movie, when he's under the Broadway spell, it's a very, very thin slit, kind of like that. That is not a straight line, but very thin, like that, and like that. Because he's under the Broadway's control, and then when he finds out he kills Hiccup's father, that fear and anger and regret, and when Hiccup rejects him, it's kind of like that. But usually when he's lovely and playful, his eyes are big. And like I said, he has plasma blasts. He has his echolocation thing, which he uses to find things. Jet black scales. He has two sets of wings. His big set of wings for vertical takeoff, and the ones down at his tail for gliding. And if you've seen the first movie, you know that Hiccup shot his leg off, or his tail fin off, so he has an artificial tail fin. Till the third movie where Hiccup makes a mechanical one that doesn't need him for. He has a scar on his right shoulder or neck, and again, we're not sure how it got there. It's just there. And he has bright green eyes, retractable teeth, hence the name Toothless. And he has a dry sense of humor like Hiccup, I guess, kind of like me. And that's pretty much it for Toothless. Okay, now we move on to the book, his name's also Toothless. Quite a bit different. So in the book, I have my little Toothless that I made here. In the first book, we find out that Toothless is a common or garden. But because Hiccup is the chief, he doesn't want to disappoint his father. He tells him he's a rare species of dragon known as the Toothless Daydream. But eventually in the 11th book, we find out that he is a sea dragonish Giganticus Maximus. And something special about these dragons are when they're young, they're about the size of an iguana. But then they grow to, from this wall, my window over here, to maybe that wall over there. You can't see it, but there is a wall over there. And then they shrink to, again, the size of an iguana. And if you've seen the books, you know that Rodent's Fang, Furious, and Toothless are all that. And I'm going to write this for you. I'm not going to have enough room. Alright, down here. Alright. Also, unlike in the movie, where his teeth are retractable, Toothless in the book actually has no teeth. But his gums, they can actually crush the shell of an oyster and a crab. And they do hurt, because in the first book he does take hold of Toothless's arm, and it's going to hurt because it's quite a strong grip. Now, of course, like I said, if you read the books, you know that in the first book he does get a tooth, but he loses it in a dragon fight when he bites Fireworm in the butt, or something like that. And he doesn't gain any other teeth. And he is presumed to be in the books, and I've seen the books, you know that they're not in color, but some pictures, as you can tell by my thumbnail, and by the color of my clay Toothless, you know that obviously they have some color. So, and this is pretty much what he looks like. He's green with red around the wings, I think maybe red spikes and horns. I'm not sure about the red spikes, but I know that his wings are at least red, at least the membrane part, not the part that would be like the arm. And he's about the size of an iguana, and he can sit on Hiccup's arm. He's also incredibly disobedient, selfish, and very ungrateful. Alright. And actually, Toothless is, if you've seen the books, you know about the prophecy, you know that Toothless is one of the lost things, because it says a fangly dragon. Again, that will be a future video. And he does actually end up getting the dragon jewel from the necklace that Alvin gave to Fishleg's mother, who gave it to Fishlegs, who gave it to Hiccup. But again, you don't need to know that right now. So this is actually probably one of the shortest comparison videos I've done, because again, there isn't that much material on dragons as there is the humans, because the dragons don't talk in the movies. In the books, they speak what is called, and I mentioned this I think yesterday, Dragonese. And this is a language that dragons speak, and only Hiccup can translate it and speak it. Okay, now let's talk about these guys. The end, like what happens at the end. Well, we know Toothless marries the Light Fury, or I guess in animal sense he breeds her, and they have 3 dragons, which are a new species known as Nightlights. And Toothless, we know he has a crush on Stormfly in the book, if you read the books. But we actually don't know. All we know is that now in the books it says that there were dragons when I was a boy. Now if you've seen the third movie, you know that that's a line at the end of the movie. Of course, in the third movie of How to Train a Dragon, we know what happens to dragons. Hiccup sent them to the hidden world. In the book, we actually don't know what happened. Hiccup does explain, though, that eventually, after a while, Toothless stopped coming to see him. Why? The book never says. We just know that Toothless stopped seeing Hiccup after a while. Like I said, the book doesn't give any hints about this. So, if you're a How to Train a Dragon fan, if you read the books, and you're like me, you probably have resorted to your own methods, writing what happened after the book. I did that. I have it in my room somewhere, which I might end up reading for you guys as a future video. Alright, let's get into the comparison part. Let's start with relationship to Hiccup. Okay, this one, I'm going to say tie because it is the same relationship, more as friend and companion rather than pet. But if I had to choose which one I preferred, I would say movie Toothless. Just because this Toothless, he's very naughty, very obedient, and he goes on strikes in the worst possible moments. In the book, in How to Speak Dragonese, the third book, when they're being attacked by the Romans, he goes on strike. Sometimes it makes me angry, but it shouldn't. Alright. Aftermath. So, end of the story. Obviously, I keep dropping stuff. Obviously, movie just because, and if you notice, I gave these all for my, epilogue. I gave them all to the books, I gave them all to the movies, except for Snotlout, just because Snotlout, he's at the end, if you've seen the Homecoming, he's just there hanging out with Tough Nut. Not very much to go on, where in the books, as you saw in that episode I did, he dies. Alright, and now the final thing. Overall enjoyment. Movies, obviously, just because while Toothless from the books does bring some comedic relief, if you could call it that. He's just so cute, and sometimes he gets annoyed with Hiccup and does some stuff that to Hiccup, like he does a dive thing or throws Hiccup off his back just to be funny, and it's amazing. Alright, so again, this is one of the shorter ones of the comparison opinion. That's just because there wasn't as much material to go off of. And that's going to be it for this video. Stay tuned for tomorrow, where I compare the man, the myth, the legend, the main character of How to Train Your Dragon, Hiccup and Attack the Third. And then Saturday, the special thing for you, How to Train Your Dragon versus Narnia. I haven't really done any Narnia content because I've only seen the movies. I haven't read the books. My sister has done both, so my sister is going to come in and help me out for that video. Alright, and then I'll get into some DreamWorks stuff or some Disney stuff. I have to figure out tomorrow's or next week's videos. Alright, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and comment down below which Toothless you prefer. And then hit the notification bell, and I'll see you tomorrow. Alright,